Hello, I'm Chris Beachum, managing editor of Gold Derby, with Ray Richmond, senior editor of Gold Derby. And we're here with Oscar nominee Judd Hirsch from the Fabelmans. Judd, I would like to know, you've certainly watched a lot of Steven Spielberg movies in your lifetime. How is he different in person and directing you than you thought he might be?
Well, I had no idea what he would be like. I didn't even know anybody who'd been in any of his movies. But um, this was a different movie. I mean, uh, he he said that this would be the movie that he would make without either aliens or dinosaurs. By the time this one was finished, I said, "I'm the alien dinosaur." He didn't make it. Yeah, mine was a question. Mine was a real question as to I mean, it still exists. I have no idea why the hell he wanted me to do this part. What he might have seen me in or anything like it. And I keep getting conflicting stories. The casting director said, "Well, it's because I saw you in that play," and he would say, "I saw you in that movie," and I'm thinking, "And you all saw me in Taxi. What the hell does that mean?" What's that going to do for you? To play this guy who comes from nowhere, you know?
I was told that you reminded him of an actual family member.
Not reminded him, but there was an actual family member. And the name Boris is the only real name in the movie.
Oh, really?
That's how real he is. Yeah.
Wow.
So he changed all the other names, and they're all Fableman, not Spielberg, but Boris is real.
What was it like working with Gabriel LaBelle? We've seen him at a few parties during awards season.
Yeah.
He's such a composed and charming kid.
Yeah, he's Canadian. What do you want?
But
Yeah.
was it fun working with him?
Yeah, because we never met. We met on the set. We met on the set without rehearsal. It was like opening a door, saying, "This is the guy you play with. Now start." That was,
Was that on purpose that you wanted to start fresh?
I think Steven, I think he did it on purpose because he wanted to. I guess I don't know what it was, but he didn't want to get in the way of the character. Wanted me to make him up and see what happened. And I suppose that if it was, questionable or wrong or not the right feeling, he would have stopped. But he never stopped, so we kept going. I didn't know the kid. I mean, it's almost like it's like accosting somebody that doesn't know you're going to do that to him. You know what I mean?
I think that works for the movie too, though, because Sammy doesn't know his uncle, and so that makes for a good chemistry there, because the two characters don't know each other either.
Right. I remember one time I did a movie called "This Must Be the Place," which I was a Nazi hunter, and Sean Penn was in the movie playing the lead, and then we had a first meeting scene that we were going to do first. In other words, there was no scene I was going to do with him before that, and I hadn't met him, didn't know him. It was shooting something out in Michigan. They flew me out and sent me to wardrobe, and the director, who was this wonderful Italian guy, said, "Would you like to meet this Sean?" And I said, "No, thank you. I'd rather meet him in the first scene." Because the character never met him and is amazed and is annoyed and amazed by him. And I said, if I know what he's going to do beforehand, I'm not sure that I can play it. So that's what happened. I didn't even know what he was going to sound like. He had a completely different voice. So here's an actor getting surprised by another actor's sound as part of the movie, as part of the character, my character. And I remember turning to the director after a sort of a cut, and said, is he going to sound that way through the whole movie? He said, yes. Okay. So that's why I said this is pretty much the second time it's happened to me that we did not meet anybody before we started. And there was no rehearsal, which is great. Yeah.
How long were you on set for?
How long?
Yeah.
Well, we did the last scene first, which is what my sort of leaving. And then I had to come back and do the other two. I think it was 2 days. Yeah. Because there was a different location. They were on a particular location that we did the outdoor part of my leaving. They were doing that early. So, and I remember it's almost like saying your effect in the movie is played first, and then go do something that makes that effect true. There's no way to do it. No, in my mind, I said, I just almost murdered a kid, and now I'm being sent off with such joy, in a cab, in a taxi.
Judd, I would love to know about Oscar nomination morning. How did you hear the news? What was your reaction? And how did it feel different than 40-something years ago with Ordinary People?
It's coincidental. The first time in Ordinary People, I played with the pretty much first movie of Timothy Hutton, and he was 19 years old. This is the first movie of Gabriel LaBelle, and he's 19 years old. And both of them had me doing one scene with each one of these kids. So I guess if you want to get an Academy Award, they got to think of another picture for me with another 19-year-old kid.
But hopefully not in 40 years.
Yeah, well, the times were different then. I was in a television series called Taxi when we did that movie. I had to sort of get out to do it and then go back and be back in Taxi. So it was, it's like, I don't know. To me, it was always questionable about how he's supposed to do this, why I'm chosen, and what the idea of the director, in this case, director-writer, have in mind. And it's not that they're willing to tell you that, because there's something about why they chose me that already answered certain questions. Not that they told me that. They didn't tell me that. So, okay, it's I'll be the character that they're going to visit, until someone stops me or fires me and says, no, wrong guy. Something about, I'm not quite sure. Neither one of those guys ever told me why, because the original character in Ordinary People, by the way, the one that's written, is obese. And when we talked about it, Refn wasn't, he didn't care about that, because it's a book, it's a novel, and then a movie. And I said, why, what are you going to do with me? He said, we'll put some sweaters on you. He did not intend for me to be obese. The only thing I was concerned about was the kid in that picture, if you remember, should not want to come back to his therapist. He's too troubled. Yeah, because the therapist is a very, he's just another patient, and the therapist is not patient enough with him to make him, because he challenges him, it's like, what do you want to do here? And so I thought, oh, this is great, because the movie will prove the necessity for the kid coming back. That's the big surprise. That's why it's dramatic. Mm-hmm. That's why it's a good script. So I was thinking of anything else. I said, okay, I'm not obese. What else could he not want to come back to me for? I'm not going to play clumsy. Can't do that. Oh, no, I know. I'll smoke. And that was the first time that I'd ever gotten the direction which was, oh, no, you won't. That was Redford. And I said, wow. but I stopped smoking. I don't smoke. He said, well, what do you want to do that for? I said, because I want to make it give the kid a chance to say, why do you do that? Or something like that. Or why am I here? You know, got to know that the reason he comes back because the guy really is someone who he needs. Not by playing, you know, the story will be that good. I said, so I got to smoke. He said, it's a crutch. And I said, I know. We'll have to keep on stopping and making the cigarette look the same length and all this kind of stuff. I said, don't worry about that. He said, all right, we'll see. So I just started smoking. I thought, I'm going to beat Redford on this one. Yeah. He loved it.
You
I mean,
you had you had a great impact. You had a great impact.
Sometimes you got to tell the directors what's better. Sometimes. Spielberg, you can't tell.
No, I was going to say, I don't think Steven, you can tell anything.
Yeah, he's already told you what's better, which is the script. It's better than anything you could think. So do that. And when I read the script, I thought, oh my God, this is ridiculous. Why would I even bother this kid like this? And there was no redeeming quality, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's why I called it the movie that he actually does have an alien dinosaur, and that's me. But I said, there's no redeeming quality. He said, don't worry about it. I said, but I come here, I killed a kid. It's you. I mean, you know, what? There's nothing. And I even say in effect at the end of the scene, you know, I came here to mourn your grandmother. It's your grandmother, you know. Tear your shirt, sleep on the floor. The kid goes, okay. And then end of scene. Nothing redeeming about me. And I kept on. And these guys were not going to tell me. You know, Tony Kushner, he was pretty responsible for writing a lot of that. If I said, so why would he do that? And don't you think it's a little tough? And this is what Tony does when you ask him questions. He smiles. He knows what he wrote works. That's why he's so good. Don't say anything else but what he wrote. Please don't. You know, I'm telling other actors. You ever work with Tony Kushner? Don't say anything else.
You're the actor, not the writer.
Yeah. So you have to climb into the pants of the one he wrote, and you have to climb into the reason that Tony had to make him that way. Well, Spielberg, okay. Spielberg had to give him the reason. And then Tony picked out that background. So what I'm really playing is the fictional feeling of a real man. Because that's what Steven felt when he was there at the time that was real. He was truly sort of like, you know, in a fictional place, but the man was there. He was real person. He had to keep saying he did make me become a director, but he didn't mean that. He meant that he planted in him the idea that he will follow an art no matter what.
So this character, so Uncle Boris gets you your second Oscar nomination.
Yeah.
And now you seem to be everywhere. They're re-releasing movies that you did 10 years ago, Altered Minds. You're in this movie Rally Capture, an episode of Extrapolations, I'm Mordecai. Suddenly you're the hottest 87-year-old in the world.
Yeah. Well, you know, yeah. The others are all gone. What am I going to do?
No, it's got to be pretty great. I mean, to have this resurgence.
Yeah, it's really, you know, I'll tell you, from the mind of an 87-year-old man, it's really getting a little bit much. I don't want anything to overshadow anything else. I don't want people telling me that something was really, you know, wonderful and important when it's not, when it really isn't. I'm living in an age of exaggeration, and I don't come from there. You know, as an actor, the only thing I want to do is be believed. I wanted the truth, play the truth, know the truth, you will see that. And if you don't believe what I do, then I fail. And that's the only thing I got into this thing in the first place, to express something real, and I want you to believe me. It's a great way to want to act. I mean, that's the reason for acting. Not to become a famous person, maybe to make some money, but no, the rest was to get to be believed. Because then in the rest of your life, like politically or in romance or in business, the only thing that I ever thought was, I want you to believe me. I don't want to be an ad maker and say that this is the greatest thing on the market. No, I won't do that ad. Because it doesn't move me. I feel like a liar.
But are scripts starting to pour in for you as a result of this?
Well, it's a little soon, There'll be those sitting in the background going like this. Well, is he going to win it? Is he going to win it? And then you don't win it, and they go, all right, next.
Hey, I had we need to wrap in a moment, but I just had one final question since we're an awards website. You've won 2 Tonys, you've won 2 Emmys. I went back and watched all 4 of those speeches this morning. Your second Emmy win was right after Taxi got canceled, and you said something like, "Am I missing something here?" So I wonder. And
I'll tell you what I said. We were canceled, and then the ceremony.
Right.
We already knew we were canceled, and I thanked ABC for the first 4 years of Taxi, and I thanked NBC for the last year of Taxi. And then I said, and then I'm going to take this thing and shove it right up alongside the one I won in 1980. There was a pause there for a moment, but I was not pleased. It's a good joke. In other words,
No, it was a real. I remember being I think it was in high school. It was a real shame that Taxi didn't last longer than it did. But my question is, between those 4 and your Oscar nomination, and I know you've been to a lot of awards over your career, what is a favorite memory from an award show that you think of when I ask that particular question? Is there a memory that just jumps out when I say that?
3 times I've been awarded where I thought that losing benefited what I was doing. First, there was a play. I became the producer of the play and the star, and it was called Tally's Folly, 2-character play on Broadway. There was another play being done at the same time about a deaf girl, and in it was John Rubinstein was the actor. And I knew that I had to leave the one I was in to go back to do television. And I'm the producer of it. I got nominated, and I'm going to have to leave the show. What good is it going to do for the show? I mean, I'm going to have to be replaced. So I voted for him, and he won the Tony. The next one was the Academy Award in 1981 for Ordinary People, in which this kid was really the lead and put into the supporting category with me. And I thought, what's the best thing that can happen? I lose. Because then I have to explain what in the world was I doing in the same category with him. He's the lead of, but they put him in supporting. Okay. So I thought, and I just, can I get into one of these where I can get an award where I don't have to wish the other guy to win? This one. This one.
Well, as we wrap, you've been voting on Oscars for at least 4 decades. Has there been a performance? Let's take this year out of the mix. Has there been a performance over the years, last 4 decades, male or female, that just wowed you, that you just said, I can't wait to mark this person down on my ballot?
Not sure if I was an Academy member when Peter O'Toole did Lawrence of Arabia, but I just couldn't imagine a better performance in a movie that I've ever seen. That if I would have voted for him. I mean, look what an actor had to do in order to do the movie.
We were just writing an article about that. It was we were doing some flashback articles on anniversaries, and that's the 60th anniversary of that particular ceremony. Can you believe Peter O'Toole, who would have won any other year, came up against Gregory Peck in To Kill a Mockingbird? So, I mean, what a choice for you voters.
Silly. I know. That's why some of the greatest performances which did not win were the greater performances, the ones that did win. They were greater than the ones that did win. And we won't remember them. But, well, you know, those are classic anyway. That's a classic movie. I was waiting for someone to kind of imagine, I imagine someone was going to come to me and say, I have a part that's going to be in a foreign country and it's going to be in, like Russia or Azerbaijan or something like that. You're going to put, that part that O'Toole played? Well, it's very similar. And I'd go, whoa, I'll go there. I'll learn to ride a camel.
Well, Judd,
I don't get parts like that.
We really appreciate your time. We are so excited about your Oscar nomination. I'm assuming you're going to get to make it to the ceremony.
Yeah. This is what I'll go to. Yeah. Listen, I have to. I'm working for Universal. It's a big place.
Oh, it'll be fun. I know you did the luncheon a couple of days ago, and that's always a fun thing too.
Take a look at the picture.
Yeah.
The photo of all of the nominees.
Right.
Mhm.
But guess who's right down in the middle? Me.
You're right in the center.
Right
As you
there.
should be.
Yeah.
Center
Yeah.
of attention your whole
I don't know
life.
if they planned it, but I planned it. I just thought that's where I'm going to sit. Anyway.
Judd,
Yeah.
thank you so much. Good luck on the Oscars.
Thank you.
And it's a great performance. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Judd.
Thank you.